to the cloud. Very good, very good. Well, let's dive into it. Okay. And just so you know, HG, you can be as real as you want to on this call. I'm not Andy Frisella, and this is not technically the Real AF podcast, but we talk about the real stuff, the good, the bad, the ugly, the what did it actually take? What does winning actually look like? Um, so let's see. Yeah, now everybody wants to hop in here. Here we go. Morning, everybody. What I'm gonna do, Hannah, is I'm gonna make you a co-host. I'm gonna make Holly a co-host, and then I'm gonna change the settings so nobody can unmute in case they're not paying attention. Right? Yeah, I'm a settings guy. Very good. But just so y'all know, okay, a little bit about Hannah, because she's on late notice too. I think I asked you what, Tuesday, Hannah? Is that right?
Yes, Tuesday.
Yeah. And just so y'all know, me and Hannah met on an incentive trip, right? We went to like a 4-story, like bazillion dollar estate, honestly, like in what was it, like North Georgia or the hills of South Carolina, somewhere over there. And then we won a competition for Delaney, um, and just had so much fun, so much fun. It was like 4 days. We had like personal chef, like two personal chefs. It was pretty sick. It's just 10 people out of Delaney's entire master agency that won it, and luckily me and HG and her upline Rob Purley were there as well. So, just some stats on her. Okay, I know agency owner. Are you a top producer? Are you an elite producer, Hannah?
An elite producer, yeah.
I was about to say, there's no way that you're only a top producer. Yeah, she's an elite producer. Okay. If you don't know what that means that she's net placed 30 grand in back-to-back months. However, pretty sure she qualified before it went to 30 grand in back-to-back months. I'm pretty sure she had to submit 40 grand back-to-back months, right? And place 30. I think that's when you hit it.
I
Could be.
think no, oh, I think so, yeah, because then they changed it right after.
Yeah. Yeah. So elite producer, I mean, I don't really need to go over anything else, but her best month on her own pen is 56,000. That was in March of 2021, which is really not a insurance buying month, if I can be honest with you. And then best personal week of production was that same month. Surprise, surprise. She did 19 grand in a week. Okay. And this is simplified issue stuff. This isn't the DFLs. This isn't annuities. I don't even know if she's ever done an F5 reset, to be honest with you. Like, she just knows how to write a shitload of business. Okay. And she knows how to get it placed, and she knows how to get it issued. She's dealt with chargebacks. She's dealt with cancellations. She's dealt with not getting people approved. She knows how to conservatively underwrite. And we're going to get into a lot of that stuff today. Just so y'all know, in 2021, she wrote 369 applications for 381,263.13. So she was 20 grand shy or 19 grand shy of a $400,000 year. Okay. That's called long obedience in the same direction, right? And that was March 2021. That was how long had you been here whenever that happened? Had you even been here an entire year?
No, I started in September of 2020.
Yeah, so tell us your story a little bit. Why did you come to Symmetry? Tell you who you are, who you direct to, all that jazz. Kind of tell us a little bit of insight about you, Hannah.
Yeah, absolutely. So Hannah Grace Davis, I'm direct to Rob Purley. So I've been with Symmetry for 4 years now. Before starting Symmetry, I worked as a registered nurse. I personally didn't like working every other weekend, every other holiday, having no control over my time or the amount of money I made. Before coming here, I've never made more than $40,000 to $60,000 a year. And I personally hated being on a shift, working my butt off while the nurse next to me didn't work as hard, but we're still making like the same amount of money. So I was definitely attracted to Symmetry's business model with being able to have like make 100K in your first year and have total control of your schedule and your time.
Mm. And what did you make your first year? What'd you make in 2020? What'd you make in 2021?
So in 2020, because I started in September till the end of December, I believe I made over 35,000 in those 4 months. But then in the full year of 2021, I cleared a little over 250.
Over. So your first full year here. So you got basically, I guess, what, like 4 months of hardcore training, and you know, Like, talk to us about those first couple of months. What did that look like for you?
Yeah.
Um, and what were some struggles and how'd you get better?
Yeah, yeah. So definitely a couple things that I started with that I struggled with when I first started here at Symmetry was I think I had this like expectation that I wanted to go out and write 5K immediately, like in a week. And I learned early on it wasn't that simple, and there was a lot of work that needed to be done to go into that. Because I would see Travis Clark and Monica Jaramillo go out there. They were writing 5K every single week, and I really admired their results, and I wanted to get their results. And I had to do some inner work on surrendering the outcome and not just focusing on writing 5K my first couple of weeks. And so I had to learn to fall in love with our process and learn patience and know that it takes time to be good and put in the work, make the phone calls, and continuously buy leads, like regardless of how like that week is going to go. I had to learn to be coachable as well. I remember back in October of 2020, Luke, this was my second month here. And I think I wrote 10,000 that month, but in 2 weeks of the month, I booked 14 appointments 2 weeks in a row. So I had 28 appointments and I had think about it. I had no shows, I had cancellations, like I wrote nothing. And I felt so defeated. And it was a conversation that I had to have like with Rob about learning to be coachable and record an appointment so he can see exactly what I'm doing and saying wrong. Um, and that was really where everything changed for me because we did this recording. He made me listen to it. And you guys, let me tell you, it is so uncomfortable recording yourself and re-listening to yourself. I don't like it. Um, but that's when I learned like I have a serious posture problem and I'm just too friendly in my appointments. I sounded like a cheerleader. Someone would tell me like they had diabetes or cancer and everything I would respond to was like, "Oh, okay, great." Like any medication they took, it's probably one of my coping mechanisms of when I'm nervous, I'm just like too up like positive. But that's when I learned like I had to gain some confidence on my own and know and just simple it down like this is the process. And Travis Clark, I remember he told me, he's like, when you go to the doctor's office, what does the doctor do when you walk in the room? It's like he assesses the situation and the problem, he looks at your symptoms, and he tells you this is what we're going to do. He's like, the concept is the same for what we do. We're asking hard questions, we're trying to get to the why and what the need is. And he told me that's all I was supposed to do. Just go in there, be serious about it, have confidence, even though you don't know, maybe you don't feel like you know what you're doing, but carry that posture, and then people will listen. So that's definitely something that I struggled with early on and how to like get over that.
We're like 5 minutes in and this is getting absurd already. Um, I've already got a page of notes. You said surrendering the outcome. Let's go back to that. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, when you say surrender the outcome, are you talking about just be process oriented and focus on getting better? Or are you saying like whenever you went into the appointment, or into a dial team rather, you didn't kind of judge yourself based off the results, but rather off of your personal effort? Kind of tell me what surrender the outcome means to you.
Yeah, I think surrendering the outcome, what it means to me, and I think it's different for certain situations or depending upon the situation, but I had to surrender the result that I was looking to obtain. Like I had these expectations that I wanted to write 5K every single week. And when I wasn't getting that, when I was getting, think about it, when I was getting no shows, when I was getting reschedules, I felt crushed like internally. Didn't feel good enough, carrying shame, didn't believe in myself. And so that's when I had to read like Chop Wood, Carry Water. I don't know if I touched on this already, but that really taught me to fall in love with the process. Get rid of the outcome. Don't focus on the end result, but fall in love with the process of the job, like making the phone calls, learning to get better every single day, plugging in, like building those cross-line relationships and listening to like training calls on Vimeo. I think I said that right. And then there's another app. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, SoundCloud probably.
Yeah,
Um,
SoundCloud. That's it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Chop wood, carry water. That's one that I wrote. I haven't read that one yet, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, what a shame. I'm gonna take a lap. Talk to us about the power of running buddies. I heard that as well I mean, because you've got top performers with Travis and Monica there. I mean, those guys those are ones that I looked up to early because they were both here longer than I was, you know. Talk to us about the importance of that.
Yeah, I think finding a running buddy early on or someone that you really do admire, like especially their results or who they are as a leader is so important because I believe that we become who we surround ourselves by, right? So they were getting results, they were making really good money, and they made it look easy. And they were the example that I saw and I wanted to follow and I wanted to become. They had a relationship with Rob where all three of them looked up to each other. And I'm like, that is the type of relationship I want to have, like with Rob and with Monica and Travis. And I want to be in that circle of people. I want to be a leader and I want to lead from the front. So I was willing to do what it takes to get that. And I think by having those running buddies, um, by becoming like them or building a relationship, allowed me to grow a personal relationship with them. Monica and I were pretty good friends. We've been on a few trips together now. She's so fun to hang out with. And so rather than just being like, it's so much more here than just being business partners, like you truly develop like a friendship out of it too. And you get to learn off of one another as well. Next
Yes.
thing you know, you're traveling to Mexico 12 times a year with them.
Yeah, seriously. That was really fun whenever we all went to Mexico to Cancun
Yeah.
for about a week with Delaney as well. That was like the first time I really got to hang with Monica. That Jaramillo, she's absurd. She's so good. Okay. Talk to me about your schedule. What's your schedule? Because I remember, especially like in 2020, like I remember because I was in that same dogfight you were. Like I was already kind of on the other end of my initial learning curve, I guess you could say. But I just remember you being relentless on Fridays and Saturdays. Like it didn't matter what it took, your ass always came out with like 20 appointments. And then all of a sudden it was like 500 dials to 300 dials to like 150 dials, to where every single week you went in with like 20 or 25. Like, talk to us about, I guess, that long obedience in the same direction and just like your discipline, in my opinion, is absolutely absurd. So, talk to us about that.
Yeah. So I learned early on here, like when we had a dial, there were dial teams, 3:45 to 7. I mean, still Delaney dial team and then Saturdays 8:45 to noon. And that is when Travis was dialing, Monica was dialing, and everyone else was dialing. They were posting their numbers. And I remember when I first started here, I don't know if you know this, Luke, but I got a part-time job at a spray tanning salon. And I didn't do that to like buy leads or pay bills. I was just doing that to have like extra money to go out to lunch with my friends. Rob says I got that job to pay for leads. That's not true, but it was mainly just to go shopping and hang out with my friends, like during the week since we had flexibility in our schedule. And one of my shifts was on Fridays. And I started getting this like feeling like I had some FOMO that everyone else was on dial team, but I wasn't on dial team. And I'm like, man, people are dialing 3 to 7. Like that's a crucial time. Like if that's what everyone's doing and they're getting good results, I need to be there. So I quit that job. I only worked it for a couple months and it was only 2 days a week. And that's when I realized, like, if that's when everyone's dialing and Symmetry says, like, this is an optimal time to dial, then I should be doing that too. If successful people are doing this, because success definitely leaves clues, then I know that I need to protect my schedule and dial during those times, as well as on Saturdays. So I started when I first started here because I had that job Friday evenings, I would dial 9 to noon. And that created a habit for me. So every Friday, I dialed 9 to noon in the morning, and then I dialed 3 to 7. And then the following morning, I dialed 9 to noon. So three-hour dial sessions. And I was booking appointments for Mondays and Tuesdays. When I got to a place of booking 15 appointments a week, that's when it clicked to me. I remember giving a phone call to Rob and be like, this makes sense to why we have to book 15 because we will get cancellations and no shows and reschedules. But to get to 15, it gives you more opportunities to sit with more people. So then I started booking more. I'm like, well, since I have 15, let me book 17 this week. And then the following week, let me see if I can get to 18 or 19 appointments this week. And then I got to 20. And once I started getting to 20, I realized this just allows me for more opportunities to help more families. And so I started running appointments a couple hours on a Saturday after dialing, a couple hours on a Sunday after church, and then all day Monday and all day Tuesday. And because of that, I was like able to stock up on resources. So, you know, we shoot for little goals here. Like if you're new here, you're starting out and you book 3 appointments, maybe the following week we're going to try to get you to 5 to 7. And then the following week try to get you to 10, and then eventually try to get to the 12 to 15. And the more you start to make allows you to invest more. So I was able to like load up on more resources, book more appointments, and help more families.
And what's your lead order look like on what did it look like then? Was it like now? Like go through the, I guess, the evolution.
Yeah. So I was working bonus leads. So, oh my gosh, what were they called 4 years ago? Like B1s or B5s? Now they're so okay. So the MIBs, what they are today, the MIBs, that those are the exact same leads that I was getting when I first not when I first started. I started on 50-cent leads, and then the middle one, they were called B3s at the time. So whatever is under, and so they're MIDs. So I started 50-cent leads, then MIDs for a couple weeks, and then I switched to MIBs. And I was getting about, I think, 40 MIBs a week. And I did that for a few weeks. And then Rob encouraged me to start trickling in A leads. Like my first week, he started me on, I think, 3 to 5. It was like 3 or 5 mortgage protection A leads. And then I worked my way up to receiving, I think, 50, no, not 20, 15 of those a week, as well as the 40 MIBs. And now I'm doing 15, like 10 to 15 CIA leads a week, and then about 20 to 30 MIBs a week. Now, I'm not too focused on writing 10K a week anymore now. But talking about now, I just want to hit the minimums, 5K weeks. 5K weeks with resets.
5K week with resets. 5K weeks with resets. I like that. I like that. Okay. So yeah, I can see how you kind of scaled and scaled and scaled. And then put massive activity behind that. You know, where do you feel like you learned the most from? Do you think you learned more from Travis and Monica? You think you learn more from just dialing or from listening to your recordings or from Rob coaching you on recordings or just being on conference calls and dial teams? Like where do you feel like you learned like the most from?
Yeah, such a good question. Honestly, I learned the most from going out there, making as many mistakes as I possibly can. The more and more families you guys sit with, you guys, like they'll eventually start to repeat themselves. You'll find yourselves in situations with families like, oh, I talked to someone in this situation like this maybe a month or two ago. Maybe not on the medical side, but it's like, okay, I know how to run an appointment of a single older lady with no one else living in the home, or 2 spouses that work, or maybe just 1 spouse that works. And that's what I mean by it will start to repeat itself over time. But I definitely learned from just going out there and doing and just experiencing what it's like, hearing those objections, getting think about it. And then also, I think when I had to record myself, that's because my numbers were off. Like booking 14, sitting nothing, or not writing anything. Like there was something that I was doing incorrect, and I needed even the smallest thing can throw you off. I needed that coaching. So that was a pivotal moment in terms of like going from not really getting a result to getting results, because it was something that I was saying on my end or doing, or it was my posture. But definitely I learned a lot from making mistakes, but also plugging into calls, to dial teams, and listening to recordings as well.
So good. That's so good. Would you say it was worth it going through that struggle to kind of where you are now?
Absolutely. It builds confidence for sure.
Yeah, I remember Hannah, and this is one of the reasons I didn't prep you for this at all. because I just want to see how far you've grown, because I ain't talked to you in like a year. It's been a while. I've seen you around, shot you a text here and there, but we haven't really got to hang out too terribly much here recently. Just been so busy with building and everything. I know you as well. Y'all are blowing up over there. But I remember you being on national calls, a year in, 6 months in, 18 months in, 2 years in. And I remember you reading off your screen, because yeah, I remember it. Yeah, I remember it. And now I'm just spitballing questions at you as they come to me, and you're just knocking these things down, right? So I've seen that internal growth, like just from this call alone. So I'm just tell you, I'm super proud of you. I really am. This is just so, I'm just grateful to know you, honestly. Who has any questions for Hannah? If you would just raise your hand up here and well, actually, I can just let y'all unmute. I don't even care. Go to you, Christy.
Yeah. First of all, thank you, for coming on. That was super awesome. My question is like, how did you not stay motivated, but like on the weeks that you were like, damn, I'm really not doing too hot. Like, how did you force yourself to get back up that next morning and being like, okay, I have to sit here, I have to do this. Like, I get to, but like, how did you push through that, if that makes sense?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I think it's really just comes down to making that decision because I've had so many days in this business where I don't feel like working, like I don't feel like doing anything. And I learned that we can't let our emotions like dictate our feelings. Unfortunately, I felt guilty to that a year ago, and there were times where I didn't feel like doing anything, so I didn't. And that carried over from a week to a month and multiple months. And it was almost like after so long, you look up and you're like, wait, where's my team? What have I been doing? And it all comes down to just remembering like your why and why you're here. Like fear, I would say for me is a pretty big factor that motivates me. I know that I don't ever want to go back to nursing. I don't ever want to work a job where someone's telling me what to do or paying me an hourly schedule because I'm not a good employee. Not that I'm not a good employee, I don't like being one. Like I like to have, I know, okay, if I'm going on vacation this year, like I'm going on vacation, I'm not going to ask for permission off. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question? But it really just comes back to like your why and like what is it that you want and prioritizing that over like your feelings of even feeling discouraged. And
Yeah.
that's so hard. It's a really hard thing to do.
That makes a lot of sense though, and that was very helpful because I definitely like fall guilty to that too, of the letting the emotions like, but I have to take the emotions out of it, and I'm not good at that. However, I will get good at that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. You will. You will. Definitely like keep going, pushing through like those feelings. Like don't dismiss them, acknowledge that you're feeling that way. But if you can keep like working, even though you're feeling that way, like eventually you'll just create that habit. You'll create momentum where you'll keep going over time.
It definitely gets easier. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. That a hard the first time's the hardest, and then just doing it over and over again. Who else has a question for OHG? Go ahead, Nicole. I figured Nicole had a question.
Do you have any suggestions for books or podcasts for like people in the beginning? I'm probably about 2 months in and I'm not doing so great with sales and stuff like that. So do you have any? Luke suggested like Jeremy Minor and a lot of other good things. I was just wondering what yours would be.
Yeah. Jeremy Minor, super, super good. Have you read Chop Wood, Carry Water?
I have not, but I did write it down.
Yeah, you can listen to the Audible. Like I have the book and then listen to the Audible of it as well. I've listened to it, I think when I first started here about 3 times. I'm someone that needs to hear the same thing multiple times in order, I feel like, to like for it to stick. And so just listening to that like on repeat, reading that. And I would also tell you as well to read Go for No.
I did that one. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. That one's a good one.
Shot wood, carry water. Yeah. And how many times do you listen to the same thing over and over again? Hannah, do you like if you find something good that you know creates good outcomes, like do you just continue to listen to it? I know that's what I did.
I do. Yeah, like I read earlier this year, I read and listened to The Mountain Is You by Brianna. I don't know if her last name's West or Weist. I'm not sure, but The Mountain Is You, and then 101 essays that I think it's called 101 essays that change the way you think. And both of those are on Spotify, and I just listen to it over and over again. And I also have the books too. Gets you
Um,
thinking, helps
second.
change your perspective.
Yeah, I like that doctor. And while I'm asking this question, if everybody wants to come up with a question here, we got Hannah for probably another 5 or 6 minutes. I don't want to waste any of your time, Hannah. I know you're busy.
Oh, you're good.
But I just love, I think it all clicked for you whenever you start like that doctor's office analogy for you. I don't know why, but it like with your schedule, with people showing up to appointments, with the way that you underwrite, with the way that you had control throughout your appointment, like y'all don't even understand. Y'all know how Gino is like always in the group chat, like popping off on a random Monday. Like that's nothing compared to what Hannah used to do. Okay. And like it would blow your socks off if you like were here witnessing it. I'm like, dude, she's been here for 6 months and she wrote more this week than I did this month. This is effing absurd. Like I'm talking about like 8K Mondays consistently, you know. But that posture, could you just dive back into that? Because I think I need to hear that, Hannah, just your doctor's office posture.
Yeah, I really think it's all about just like sticking to the script in like a confident forward way, but like you're still nice, like just saying like this is what we're gonna do today. Like
Mm.
I'm gonna ask you these questions and we're gonna find out if you need this. And if you don't need it, I'm gonna let you know so I don't waste any of your time. Sorry, I'm just kind of going through like the rule and
No,
purpose
do it.
roughly.
No, this is good. This is good.
And then, but if this is something that you need, we are going to be applying for insurance today. I mean, you're still being like super nice, but it's almost just you're kind of telling because that kind of puts you in a place where the client will be like, okay, they know what they're doing. And then when you're getting into the why of like asking or trying to find the need, like figuring out what the issue is, like how would that look like? What would this look like for you if so and so didn't come home tomorrow, or if they pass away? And I always use like the financial fire drill in all my appointments, Luke. I've tried to not use it, and that's when I find out I feel like I go off like the script when I'm not using it. But I let the numbers do a lot of the talking because what I've experienced here is that not everybody knows their budget or their bills or the impact it would look like if so and so didn't come home, or if that person, maybe they're a single income earner and they do get that diagnosis with cancer or they have a heart attack, like how that would significantly get rid of like their income, like drop their income, and how that would be hard to stay in the home. And just really asking those questions, but being like, you're still being nice, but you're the one in control of the appointment, not letting the client control you. Like if anytime I jump on a call and they're like, I just want quotes. Well, if I'm not set up for success that day and I'm feeling like, oh, I need this more than them, then I would just give quotes, but I'm basically not doing them a service by helping them, right? So if someone tells you like, okay, well, I need quotes. Like can we just hurry this up? Like, no, you got to go find your next client who's actually willing to sit with you and see the value, who truly needs this.
Mm. What's your what's your entry into the application? I mean, I know I heard some of your role on purpose. I like that assumptive language that guiding this, hey, this is what we're gonna do today. Hey, this is why we're gonna do it, and this is what we're gonna do. And if you don't need it, I'm gonna tell you. If you do need it, hey, we are gonna take an application, right? Because I don't even know if you can get approved. It's like 50-50, whatever your verbiage is around that. But once you show them options, like what's your into an application? Like I'd love to hear that. I'm just curious.
So before I even show options, I just straight up tell them like I'll go to the budget again and we'll just say like Jack and Diane just for fun, that song. We'll say like, let's say their bills are 5,000 a month and Jack and Diane are each bringing 3,000 in. So a total of 6K in money coming in, 5,000 going out. before I give the options, like I just say like, okay, Jack and Diane, so just to confirm, I have like your bills are 5,000 and you're bringing in 6,000. Does that sound about right? And if they're like, yeah, then I say, okay, now I have this here for you. And if this, for whatever reason, is not financially comfortable for you, I need you to be honest with me and promise that you will tell me just so I can find you something that is. Something is better than nothing. And if they don't have anything in place already, or even like a savings account, then I'll be like, I'll just tell them, and you don't have anything in place right now, and that's okay. That's why I'm going to help you, but I'm going to give you these options. And we're just going to find a starting point today because we can always change this or increase this down the road. So can you promise me, Jack and Diane, that you will be honest with me about if this is financially comfortable with you or not? And once they say, oh yeah, yeah, I'll be honest, or yeah, of course, like, then I tell them like, okay, so the first option I have here is whatever full payoff for $120 a month. And then I stop and I let them tell me if that's comfortable or not. And then we go to the next one. So I'm not giving 3 options all up front. Like we're going to do one at a time and we're going to talk about it.
Hmm. Okay. And do you do that for critical period as well?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, you start
Yeah.
with 2. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. You start with 2 years and work down. How do you kind of
So
gauge that?
with critical period, honestly, I really just do the 6, 9, and 12 months. Like I'll look at their budget. Like if it's like if they're bringing in 1,000 a month, or if their bills are 5,000 a month and their income 6K, and a year of payments is like $200. I'm probably going to start with like the 6 or the 9. I'm sorry, I'm going to start with the 9 month. I always start with the critical period, like the middle option, because we can go up or we can go down. So if they tell me the 9 month and they're like, yeah, that's comfortable, like, do you have longer, or like, what's our next option? Then I'll go like up to the 1 year. And if they're like, yeah, that's great, then we could keep talking about increasing it. But if I'm at the 9 month and they're like, no, um, that's a little too much, then we go down to the 6 months.
Interesting. I like that. I've never heard that before. That's a new one for me.
Really?
Yeah, it sounds incredible because you're just like so much on their side of the table, that it's like you're not like you're still a consult like you found a way to be a consultant still after numbers. Most people turn into a salesperson after they show numbers and only a consultant before numbers. You found a
Mm.
way to be a consultant after numbers. Like, hey, does this fit? Do we need to go up? Need to go down? Talk to me. How is this? Right. That's really good.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
think it puts you in a place too, especially if you encourage like a lower amount. Because if they agree to 9 months or 12 and they're like, yeah, that's okay, but it's still pretty expensive, but we can make it work, I'm really going to encourage them to start with 6 or 9, because you don't want that chargeback and you don't want them to go without coverage.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
So you
by
slow down the
doing that,
process.
I've had clients, like I wrote a policy in January for 6 months of coverage, and the family called me this month and was like, hey, do you have anything for 10 months? Because we're ready to increase our coverage.
That's
Like you
when you
have
know.
clients come back over time wanting more.
That's when you know you've done it right. That's good. That's good. Well, does anybody have any other questions for Hannah? I know I'm over time here. Guess not. They're gonna be asking me questions this afternoon, Hannah, that they could have asked you, and you're way better than I am. I don't know why they would do that. I don't know. I don't know. Excuse me.
All good,
Last,
guys. You can ask away.
yeah, last thing here. Give them, what would you want to tell because I mean, we've got people on this call that have been here for 2 years. We got people that have been on here for 2 months, and we got people on here that have been they've been dialing for 2 days. What piece of advice would you give everybody, but like, I guess in closing?
Yeah. Man, the one piece of advice I'd give you guys, and I know this sounds like so, I don't know if cliche is the word or what it is, but it's like, truly don't give up. Like put your why in front of you and remember why you started and why you're here, because it will propel you to keep going when times like get really, really hard. And if you're struggling, just reach out for help. One thing I learned about myself is when I'm going through the pit of life or I'm struggling, one of my coping mechanisms is I like to run away and hide and not talk to people. But that's actually when you need someone the most, is when to ask for help. So if you're going through a struggle, just be really coachable here. Like reach out to Luke, or I mean, you guys can reach out to me if you want to. We'll talk, or try to see like what it is that you think could be going wrong, like in your business and your appointments, the way you're dialing, and go after it and be willing to change. If it feels uncomfortable in this business, like if reading an objection to a client when you're dialing feels uncomfortable, that's a good thing because it probably is. I mean, you just have to get used to it. But once you start doing it enough, it will become second nature and you will realize, oh, this is why we say what we say, because it actually works.
So good. So good. Well, thank you so much for your time, Hannah. I'm about to call Rob because that was so good. That was so good. Very good. But I hope you have a blessed rest of your day. Everybody go out there and crush it. We got a team call at 7 this evening. We'll see y'all there. But Hannah, I just appreciate you so much. Girl, hope you have a record week coming up.
Hey, I
Thanks,
don't think we
Lynn.
have a team call because it's Halloween.
We need to figure that out if we have a team call or not. Okay.
I'm 99% sure that on the schedule there's no call.
No team call. Okay. So we got our team call today already. Happy Halloween. Don't eat too much candy because we got Dial Team tomorrow morning. All right. We'll see you, HG. See you guys.
Thank you so much, Luke. I appreciate you.